Christian, and today I am looking at Jonah chapter 1, starting at verse 1. One day the Lord spoke to Jonah, son of Amittai. He said, "Go to Nineveh, that great city, and speak out against it. I am aware of how wicked its people are." Jonah, however, set out in the opposite direction in order to get away from the Lord. He went to Joppa, where he found a ship about to go to Spain. He paid his fare and went aboard with the crew to sail to Spain, where he would be away from the Lord. But the Lord sent a strong wind on the sea, and the storm was so violent that the ship was in danger of breaking up. The sailors were terrified and cried out for help, each one to his own god. Then, in order to lessen the danger, they threw the cargo overboard. Meanwhile, Jonah had gone below and was lying in the ship's hold, sound asleep. The captain found him there and said to him, "What are you doing asleep? Get up and pray to your God for help. Maybe he will feel sorry for us and spare our lives." The sailors said to each other, "Let's draw lots and find out who is to blame for getting us into this danger." They did so, and Jonah's name was drawn. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you knew God was asking you to do something? It might be going to talk to a person about a situation that's been on your heart, or maybe starting a new business, or maybe leaving a job, or starting a new one. You know that God is asking you to do something, and you go in the exact opposite direction. Let me raise my hand. I've been there. There's the moments where it just feels like whatever he's asking you to do is harder. Or maybe you're in Jonah's situation and you feel like the person that he's sending you to, they don't deserve it. And so you run in the opposite direction. What happens is when we're in disobedience to what God is calling us to, one of the biggest dangers that we end up facing is that when we're disobedient, that actually puts others around us in danger. He actually boards a ship going towards Spain to go in the opposite direction of where God is calling him to go. And it ends up putting everybody on board in danger. Their lives are at stake, their families, their careers, their livelihood, everything is now on the line. All because Jonah was like, "I'm not going over there." That happens in our own lives. Our families, our careers, our destiny, the promises of God, the people that are watching you that you don't even know are watching you, their lives, their families, their hopes and dreams are on the line from our disobedience. Now, the great thing about God is they end up in a situation where they're like, "I don't know how to get out of this." And the only way that they can is they toss Jonah overboard. And even in that moment, God still shows up. He gets swallowed by a fish. He ends up on the bottom of the sea and inside of a fish. And he goes and does the one thing that all of us need to do in that situation. He prays to God. He goes back to his father and he goes, "You know what? I messed up. I actually have not been doing what you told me to do. I really thought I was going to die here, and you still came for me." Praise the God who keeps us in our disobedience. That's his prayer, and it should be ours. Those moments where if you find yourself right now going, "I know God has asked me to start a ministry. I know God is asking me to repair this relationship. I know God is asking me to walk away from this relationship, and I just haven't done it." Praise God who sticks with us in our disobedience. And then we end up in chapter 3, verse 2, which is actually one of my favorite verses in the Bible. He goes, "God, I messed up, and I'm sorry, and thank you for sticking with me in my mess up." And the fish coughs him up on the dry land, and God looks back at him in chapter 3, verse 2, and says, "Go to Nineveh." The same thing that God said to him before, God repeats. The Bible says that the gifts and callings of God are actually without repentance. Repentance means to change your mind. It means that God looked at you before your mess up, God looks at you after your mess up, and has not changed his mind about you. He's still going, "You're still my God, you're still my child. My calling on you is still the same. I actually am still believing for you for the exact same thing. Go to Nineveh." If you find yourself in a situation right now where you might even see where your family is starting to hurt because of your disobedience, or situations are starting to get crazy, go to God. Pray to him. He will forgive you. And then go to Nineveh. Go back to whatever he was calling you to do and be obedient. And I promise he'll never leave you. He'll never forsake you. And it'll be totally worth it. Love you.